Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lowndes, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 2 of the October class for the 5-day podcast sleep challenge. Last night, we had quite a banger. We stayed till 10:30, 2.5 hours. People were not willing to leave. We had to be literally kicked out by Misha. He said, "Listen, it's dinner time." And that's when we left. I didn't dare saying it because I was just enjoying it and glowing in the moment, but uh, Misha just said it and we left, and I'm still been buzzing since then. So tonight we're gonna try to do it as good as last night, but last night Misha put the bar pretty high, so let's see what we can do. David, brother, thank you for being here as well tonight. Okay, let's get going. Do you guys see my screen? Yes, yes, maybe, no. Okay, perfect. So today we're gonna talk about. Wait, is it this? Okay, before we start, okay, today we're gonna talk about the benefits of podcasting, how podcasting can be tremendously powerful, transformational, not just for business, but most importantly for you as a person. And we're gonna go over all of that tonight. But before we do, let's bring some question. And as we have quite a couple of pastors here, as the pastors would say, speak now, hold your peace forever. Bring your questions now about yesterday. Anything, questions, comments, compliments, I'm taking them. Come on, bring them on. Anything about yesterday? Come on, guys.
I
Sorry,
have a
just I
question.
want to say,
I have a question.
One at a time, please. One at a time. Go ahead, Quasi.
Just quickly,
Yeah.
what would be a reason not to start your podcast today?
If you hate money, if you love struggling, if you love being in the dark, love making things work harder for you, and if you don't want to have any visibility, you don't want to get to establish yourself as a leader. If you don't want to win, if you want to keep playing small, then don't start your podcast. Seriously. I mean, that's a beautiful question. I'm gonna take that part, put into a reel, and blast it everywhere. Thank you. That's a beautiful question, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Does that answer your question?
Over and above, as always, brother.
You're very welcome. Thank you. What else? Bring on the question. I heard someone else speak at the same time. Come on.
yeah, sorry, it was me because last night I wasn't in the call actually, unfortunately. But can I have a very short summary what happened last night? That's it.
Oh God, you're asking the impossible, man. It was a 2.5 hour call. How do you
Oh,
want me to summarize
sorry.
2.5 hours call? No, I'm joking. I posted the replay of the call on the Facebook group. I'll tag you after the call. And tomorrow, if you can, watch it. But basically, basically, I talked about how podcasting changed my life, transformed it, and even saved it in some ways, and how podcasting can be tremendously powerful for business. And we had an incredible guest, expert guest last night, Misha, who blew our mind away. I told him, listen, buddy, you gotta limit it to 20 minutes, and he went for over an hour and a half. So an hour and a half of pure gold, showing you how to get into podcast as a guest yourself. He's a podcast growth expert, so absolutely recommend you and anyone that missed the call last night to uh, to watch that. So yeah, that's going to be amazing. So that's the very, very, very high level summary of it. Does that answer your
Okay.
question, Ramin?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
Very welcome. Very welcome. What else, guys? Bring on your questions.
Payman, I would actually like to pose a sort of devil's advocate kind of question.
Sure.
Um, After last night, a lot of the things that you were talking about, a lot of the kind of concepts, activities, these are things I've already been doing. And so, appearing on podcasts, appearing on summits, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more specifically on what it is about your system that takes a podcast from just any old random podcast to one that's profitable.
Well, you'll see that and clear detail by Friday. I can't skip things, but basically, what is it? Tomorrow, what we're gonna do, we're gonna be brainstorming to identify your zone of genius, your true gifts, and then we're gonna craft your offer on Thursday. Craft your offer, build your messaging around your zone of genius. All you have to do is just share your story, speak from the heart, and that's how you connect heart to heart with your audience. That's a high level overview, but basically, it's about what I do on a podcast. It's all based on clarity. Clarity as to what is the number one pain point I am solving and addressing to my podcast, and for who very specifically. Then identify where is that person hanging out and simply bringing them into the podcast. On the podcast, I don't sell, I don't pitch. I have heart-to-heart conversations to build that trust, that rapport, because high-ticket selling is all about one thing and one thing only: trust. How do you build that trust? By building rapport. How do you build rapport? By speaking from the heart. And how do you speak from the heart? By simply sharing your story. And how do you do it? By having heart-to-heart conversation with exactly the audience. And the best platform to do so is podcasting. So the difference between a profitable podcast and just a struggling podcast, in a nutshell, is a clarity, laser focused clarity, one specific pain point for one very specific person. And that's what we're going to tackle to some extent tonight, but mostly tomorrow and on Thursday, because that's what's going to be on the menu for tomorrow. It's going to be all about brainstorming to identify your true zone of genius, true gifts. And then on Thursday, we're going to take your zone of genius, build your offer, craft your messaging, and that's what we're going to be basically tackling on specifically in the next 2 days.
So would you say that your system does specifically rely on pain point marketing?
Yes.
Okay.
Pain point marketing, but also speaking from the heart, sharing your story. Because again, one of my favorite saying is, your crap is your gold. Some people may put it in a different way, such as your mess is your message. Whatever you yourself, especially we're going to do that tomorrow on ways to identify your zone of genius. But basically, any major life challenges that you've overcome successfully, there's other people right now going through that and desperate looking for someone to help them. And that, because when someone is looking for a coach, they're not looking for a disconnected billionaire. They're looking for someone that is 1, 2, 3, at most 4 steps ahead of them, and someone that they can relate with, resonate with their message, identify with, and also someone that is accessible and reachable. And that's what we're going to be covering tonight and the rest of the week. But specifically, the identifying the zone of genius, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And on Thursday, we're going to take your zone of genius and craft your offer and your messaging in a very laser focused way. Does that answer your question?
I'm going to trust that the details are going to be made clearer by the time we get
Yes.
from
Surrender,
here to
trust
the
the
end.
process, trust the universe. Yes, absolutely. But everything is building up to that, because I want you guys to understand what's going to take to get you there. So when you get there tomorrow, you're fully ready. And just like I said since the beginning, every day builds upon the previous. It's like building a house. Any structure builds upon the previous day. So that's what we're going to be doing this entire week. All right. Cool. Awesome. Dayanara, go ahead, my friend.
I think just, I guess, a standard question. I don't know. So I love the fact that Katana brought it up. You know, being a guest on podcasts with your type of audience is a great way. Best takeaway from yesterday, definitely. I guess I just have a personal question, because I do have 2 different podcasts. One specifically, I am not on it alone. It's actually a podcast I do with my sister and my sister-in-law, and it's more of like a girls chat type of podcast. So being a guest on other types of podcasts with our type of audience, would you suggest it would be a good thing as a whole, since we all represent the podcast, to always be, together as guests? Or do you think it would benefit or not benefit us doing it individually, like, let's say, one-on-one kind of thing?
So if the 2 of you are the face of the brand, the face of the podcast, then by all means, yes. But if not, no. And also depending on what is your audience, what is the number one pain point you're solving and for who, that's going to determine by tomorrow and Thursday. you will have a much clearer idea on that. I don't know anything about your podcast, but the best I can tell you is if both of you are the face of the brand, face of the podcast, then absolutely both of you should go on a podcast. But if it's not, you can be more flexible.
Gotcha.
And also, it can be challenging. I did in the past, I'd guessed two ladies that were running a podcast together. The challenge was when I had them both on the call, you know, it made the podcast much longer because you have to ask the same question to each of them, or just when one was speaking, the other was just waiting. You have to be careful as not to make it too boring for the other person and not to make it to drag it way too long than it needs to be, especially given that attention is the most valuable currency in the world right now. So if you have to interview two people at the same time, it can make it
Yeah.
long unless you have an incredible story and you have a very captivated audience that really love you. It's gonna be a tough sell.
I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Once, twice. Speak now, hold your peace forever. Did I say that correctly? Oh, Dave has his hand up. Okay, go ahead, Dave. Which one is it? Which Dave? Dave Holmes or Dave from sunny Florida? Go ahead, Dave. Dave once, Dave twice. All right, next in line is Katana. Go ahead, champ. We'll come back to you, Dave, in a moment.
I was resonating with, I believe, Dianetta
Diana.
was saying about having multiple speakers, because I had thought about that coming in my space. So the best suggestion with that is that if you're going into a podcast, that you want to have a purpose that's going to serve both of you, so that the conversation doesn't drop and fill dead air. Is that what I'm getting?
Yes. The only time that would make sense to have multiple people is if you're running a round table.
Okay.
A round table around a specific topic and you bring in experts. That's the only time that I would say that it's actually advisable to have at least 3 people so you can get different takes from different experts.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Very welcome. Dave, what was your question, brother? Dave, are you here?
I don't know what Dave you want, but I'll ask a
Which one of
question.
you had your hand raised?
I did? Oh, sorry about that if I did.
So it wasn't
Well, I got a
the other
question.
Dave. Okay.
I got a question anyways.
Go ahead, go ahead.
We've known each other for a little bit, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to fit into this, and I respect you for all this podcasting, or I wouldn't be here. I see you're an expert in it, but do you think there's if you're not a coach, and you don't want to book appointments really, and you're an affiliate marketer more, is there a venue for podcasting to draw in leads for that?
Absolutely.
Really, all I want is your email address.
Yes, you want the email address, you can also give more visibility to what you're doing, the brand, what product you're promoting, and so on and so forth. My background is e-commerce. When I was living in Hong Kong and China, I was a co-host for an e-commerce brand, and we were doing a podcast interviewing other e-commerce sellers. And it doesn't matter what you're selling, as long as you're dealing with people, podcasting will benefit you because again, it's all about sharing stories, connecting. If you're doing affiliate marketing, especially if it's high ticket, which I hope it is, and not something cheap, because if it's low ticket, I would say stop wasting your time because it takes the same amount, effort, resources to sell a $5 product than a $5,000, more or less.
I
But
hear you.
so yeah, absolutely. For affiliate marketing, it's all about again bringing awareness, interviewing your prospects, interviewing your current customers, interviewing experts in your niche, and so on and so forth. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, then I got a lot more to learn right now, so I'm here.
You're in the right place, brother.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Anyone else? Once, twice. So since you're hesitant, David, I think it was the other David that had a question. Dave from Florida, do you have a question, brother? Was it you that raised your hand?
I do not. That I know of, my hand was not raised. I
Oh.
don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, no worries, brother. Okay, anyone else? Last call? All right, let's move on then. Okay, so today's menu is about why podcasting is so phenomenally powerful for entrepreneurs in business, especially first and foremost for you as a person. And I'm going to be sharing not only how podcasting helped me in many, many ways myself, and then those that helped me business-wise as well. So let's get going. So before we start, why do you think that podcasting is so powerful for business? Before I spill the beans, no, sorry, not spill the beans, not spin the beans. I can't even talk to that. Must be the coffee. So why do you think that podcasting is so powerful for business? Let's hear at least one or two people.
It establishes you as an authority in your field, in your industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else? Anyone else?
Maybe a great way to share awareness of a certain topic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One more.
Connection with your
All
audience.
about connection, my friend. It's all about connection. Yes. Now let's take it. Okay. So podcasting is powerful for business because when you have your own podcast, you will have your own platform. So you can share your story, display your expertise. And by sharing your story and displaying your expertise, you're going to do a beautiful thing. You're going to give an opportunity for your audience to really get to know you so they can build a trust, rapport with you, and because you will be having an unmatched, intimate connection with your audience. Because when someone is listening to the TV or radio, it's usually playing loud. There's a lot of distraction around you. But when someone's listening to their earbuds, sure, they might be doing other activities like cooking, doing the dishes, maybe even taking a shower, working, going for a run, working out, but there's no other distractions. So that's why you get an incredible, intimate connection with them that no other platform can even come close to. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, what is business at the core? Business, it's not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately it's a relationship nurturing process. We do business, all of us, no exceptions, with people we like, relate, and trust. And podcasting is by far the best way to build that trust, rapport, and connection with not just random people, but with the exact ideal audience, prospects, and clients. And for them to like you, trust you, and relate to it. I'm going to expand on that in a moment. So why is podcasting the best way to connect with the ideal audience and prospect? Again, because when someone is listening to your podcast, sure, they're interested in your topic. But most importantly is because they like you, your personality, your sense of humor, your values, and so on and so forth. And as they get to listen to you, they will connect with you at a deeper level because they can relate with you, resonate with your message. They can identify with you. They can see themselves in you. And that's something I'm going to expand much deeper tomorrow on Thursday, because that's incredibly important for them to identify with you, see themselves as you. Because ultimately, you're building your podcast and your business the way you wished existed when you were starting. Ultimately, your ideal avatar is no other than you when you were starting a few steps ago. That's the ultimate avatar. Someone that can really resonate with you, identify with you, see themselves as you. For example, can I become a coach teaching women how to overcome or whatever, how to go effectively with pregnancy? Can I do that? Me as a guy? No, because I can never experience that. Sure, I can learn it, but I cannot connect deeply with the woman, and women cannot deeply connect with me. So that's what I mean. You want your avatar to really identify with you. And ideally, the ultimate avatar is just you. A few steps ago, the main message for tonight is build your business, your podcast, the way you wished existed when you were at your lowest, when you were just starting. If you can do that, you're golden. Does that make sense? All right. Now, what is the most valuable currency in the world of business nowadays? It's not money. What is it?
Connection.
That's a good one, but that's not it.
Trust. So
That's amazing, but that's not it. And Katana, you said time. Time is very important, but it's not it. Start with an A.
Attention.
That's it. You must have the fastest eyes in the world because I just quickly put it here. It is. It's attention. It's the most valuable currency in the world. Why is that? I saw a study that back in the 90s, which is not long ago, the attention span of the average adult was about, what was it? 7 to 10 minutes. Now it's not long ago, it was 7 seconds. Now it's 3 seconds. Why is that? Because of all those TikTok, Reels on Instagram, Facebook, and all that. That's why you got 3 seconds to attract and to keep. And as I mentioned earlier, when someone listens to the radio or the TV, it's usually loud. There's a lot of distraction around them. But when someone listens to your podcast, especially to your podcast, it's you and the earbud. You get an intimate connection with them in ways that no other medium or platform even comes close to. And as a result, you can really connect with them and you can give them an opportunity to really like you. So who is podcasting for? That, in a way, can answer your question, Dave, earlier. As we all know, facts tell, stories sell. Since the dawn of time, we've been communicating through stories. First, it was around the bonfire, then it was TV, then radio, now it's on the podcast. So any business, both online, offline, each client, each customer, each person, each deal, each trade, each product, each launch, each book, course, whatever you're doing, each complaint, each lawsuit, that's a story. That's a captivating, inspiring, empowering, uplifting story that is worth telling and sharing. And as Gary would say, in a swelling, compelling, flowing, glowing way. Right, Gary? Am I right or right? Anyway, so whether you're just starting,
choice. You're right, and you're right.
thank you, brother. I appreciate the vote of confidence. So whether you're just starting on a new business or whether you're already an established business, podcasting will benefit you. If you're just starting out, get the word out. When I was starting, I had no audience, and that's what got me going. If you're already an established business, it can allow you to really further expand your reach. So who is this for? Whether you're an author, coach, professional, entrepreneur, thought leader, that's gonna, even if you're a coder and you're sitting in front of a computer all day long, that's gonna help you. As long as you have a valuable transformational skill, and that is key. One of the things I always say, never make your business transactional, make it transformational. Does anyone know the difference between transactional and transformational? Let's hear at least 1 or 2 people. What's the difference between transactional and transformational? Because that's a very key point. Who wants to answer that? Who wants to take a crack at that?
Take a crack.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, one has to do with exchange and the other one has to do with relationship.
Amazing. Yes. So what I always like to say, it's not about your time, because there's always a ceiling how much you can charge. It's not about your knowledge, because knowledge can be obtained for free, especially now with Chat GPT and all that, and Google, Uncle G. Instead, make it transformational. Can anyone give me an example of what is a transactional business and a transformational business? I know you guys are smart, that's why I'm asking you the tough questions. We have a bunch of smart cookies here. Who can give me an example of a transactional business and a transformational business? I know we have quite a few people in here who already are, who are blessed to have transformational businesses.
The transactional is basically a gas station.
Yes.
You go in, you buy the gas, you leave.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or if you're a
The
freelancer, for example.
transformational is where you're involved in developing your character, who you are, trust, mentoring, that kind of a relationship where their interest is in you more than just your dollar.
That's it. Absolutely. And another great example of a transactional business, if you're a freelancer, let's say you work per project, or a consultant, you know. But a transformational is, let's say, for example, I'm a divorce expert, fictional. We all know that if you were to get divorced in today's age, you would lose everything you worked hard all your life. You would basically facing the prospect of losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. But what if I were to come and tell you, hey, my fee is $50,000, $100,000, but I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna prevent going to divorce. Yes, $100,000 is a lot of money, but in contrast to what I'm helping you avoid losing maybe millions of dollars, that's a no-brainer. That's a transformational business. Do you guys see the difference? So again, the bigger the transformation you offer, the more you can charge. And not only charge, but also your prospect will gladly pay for it. Does it make sense? And we're going to dive into that deeper tomorrow and on Thursday and Friday. So another key point here is podcasting is phenomenal if you have an offer that is at least $1,000 or higher. Do all of you in here have already an offer of $1,000 or higher? Okay. Raise your hand if I want to hear at least one or two people who already have a high ticket offer of at least $1,000, pounds, or euros. Let's hear a couple of people here.
Jay and I are building an offer that's $997. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect.
That's perfect. But I would say $997 is on low end. Why are you charging so little? Again, it can depend on what transformation you're offering.
Right. That's a starting package.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. So again, this is what we're going to do this entire week. We're going to identify what is your zone of genius, what is your true gifts, and then we're going to build your transformational, impactful, and very profitable offer and business around your zone of genius. And your podcast, your profitable podcast is going to be the platform where you're going to achieve that. We're going to connect with your audience. So that's what we're going to do today. Not today, this entire week, and starting from tomorrow. Any questions about that before we move on? All right. So here are some examples that podcasting can and will benefit you personally. And I can vouch for all of them because I've personally experienced all of these. These are all from my personal experience. First and foremost, it's going to allow you to share your story and document your journey. In the process, you'll be making incredible, beautiful, life-lasting friendships from around the world. Right now, I'm blessed with incredible friendships from everywhere in the world. Here's one of my favorites. It's going to allow you to get access to people you normally wouldn't have access to. That's a key one. Let's say you just see someone on TV, you just read an article about them, or on YouTube with something that is really amazing, and you want to get on a call with them to pick up their brains. If you were to send them a message on whatever platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, to say, hey, I just saw your video, and I would love to pick up your brain. You won't even hear back from them because they're inundated. But what if you were to approach them with, hey, my name is Dave, my name is Sandra, my name is Genevieve, my name is Bonnie, my name is Jim, so on and so forth. I'm the host of the most amazing podcast. I love what you're doing, and I would love for you to come share your story on my podcast. Oh, you will get a hell yes. Just tell me when. By using this approach in 4 years, I've had only 2 people say no to me. One was a lady about to give birth, so we had to reschedule it. Second was a gentleman about to move for work from the US to Germany. And of course, we had to reschedule it. But nobody has said no to me using this approach. So that's what I mean. You get your foot in the door with people you normally would not be able to get access to. That's very powerful. Here's one of my favorite as well. As you get to do podcasts, talk to people, and all that good stuff, you start to not only learn about them, about the world, but most importantly, you'll get to learn about yourself and get to know yourself at a much deeper level. I can't tell you how many times after re-listening to my podcast before releasing them, I caught myself saying, wait a second, did I really say that? Where's that coming from? Countless times, it's almost like you're getting into the zone. It's like information is being channeled through you. I say things on the podcast that I don't normally say. You literally get in the zone. Here's probably the biggest benefit for me personally that completely changed my life. That is overcoming my shyness and fear of public speaking. You guys remember from yesterday that my story that was painfully shy? Well, podcasting is what allowed me to get out of that. Another major one is that it's going to drastically improve your communication and listening skills. One of the biggest mistakes all new podcasters make is that they think the podcast is all about them. Couldn't be further from the truth. It's not about you. It's about your guest. You're just a host. That means when you ask a question, let your host finish. Don't interrupt. One of my biggest pet peeves, and a lot of people, is when I listen to a interesting, fascinating podcast, is to see the host always interrupting, always trying to put in their 2 cents. Never do that, because if you do that, it's a fast way to lose people. And this is going to help you to become in the process a much better communicator and listener. Is going to drastically improve your communication skills, listening skills. Do you guys see how powerful that is? Does that make sense? Cool. And as a result of you guys inviting incredible guests on your podcast with amazing, inspiring, empowering, goosebump-inducing stories, you will become a much more interesting person to talk to, because you will learn all from all these people. You can so many experiences, wisdoms to draw from. And again, that's going to make you a much more interesting person. And because of all of that, because of your no more shy, learning more about yourself, drastically improving your communication listening skills, you will be able to connect at a much deeper level with anyone you talk to, not just on a podcast, but even in your personal life, your kids, your partners, your business, your family, your relatives, your neighbors, anyone. Because again, it's all about communication. And if you put all of that together, guess what? It's going to make you become a much more powerful and charismatic speaker and leader, because you have so much wisdom to draw from. You have so much better communication skills, listening skills, confidence. You will speak with eloquence, and so on and so forth. And last but definitely not least, the most important of all is that podcasting is incredibly fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it. Nobody would do it. And also in the process, if you put all of that together, you will find your voice, your passion, your purpose, your reason of being here, your ikigai. Do you guys see how powerful that is for you as a person, as a man, as a woman? How podcasting can make you a much, much better overall person, much better man and woman, father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, and so on and so forth, business partners. Do you see how that's going to really take you to the next level personally? Does that make sense? Go ahead, champ. You have your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you have on your list there, and you're talking about the communication, as it is important not to speak over your guest.
Yes.
I have found in my experience, it is equally important to know how to help them when they freeze.
Yes.
So you help them make the best version of themselves come forward so that they don't flop. And boy, do they appreciate that. So that's a great relationship builder. I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on that, when you do your own podcast, please, for the love of God, I'm begging you, don't make it an interrogation. Make it a conversation. Start with a simple question. Hey, what's your story? And see where that leads, as opposed to going through a list of questions. Sure, I have some questions to have like a structure, but then let it be organic. Just like you have conversation all day long with people around you, keep it as organic, as natural as possible. Does that make sense, guys? Cool. Did I answer your question, Katana? Okay, let me check with the... Okay, so many amazing comments. Yes, exactly. So again, the bigger takeaway is when you interview someone on a podcast, it's not about you. You're the host. The star is the guest. And this is something I always say. I always tell my guest that my job is to make you shine brighter than you're currently shining. Getting the goods out of you, so to speak. Make them feel confident, comfortable with you. The more natural you are, the more confident your guests will be. And when they're comfortable, they will open up. They will share things with you they never shared with you. I can't tell you how many times when people tell me, wow, this was so natural. I've shared things here that I've not shared with anyone before. Not even my family knows about. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm out of line here asking a payment, but somebody just put on there, so true. I've done that on my Facebook interviews. So I'm a newbie, so some of these questions might seem a little, like, what are you asking that question for? But if we're doing with a lot on Facebook, we're doing Facebook Lives, we're doing Facebook duet or TikTok duets and Facebook interviews. Is there a difference between Facebook interviews and a podcast with an RSS feed?
Great question. Yes and no. No, in the sense that it's all the same. It's an interview, but where they differ vastly is that a Facebook Live after a day or so is completely gone. It's drowned. It disappears under the feed. But an actual podcast episode, it stays at the top. You can always refer people to it. You can always link to it. You can use it on your website. You can use it on your marketing and all that. So I recommend doing both, but the one that's going to give you the highest return is the podcast, because again, you can keep it forever. Whereas once you do a live, by tomorrow, it's gone. You can't find it anymore because it gets flooded on the not only on your feed, but guess what? On your audience's feed, because they have so many other content that is pushed at them.
Okay, fair enough.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Let me see. I've been doing live. Absolutely, Elizabeth. You're in the right place, my friend. And I love your story. Can't wait to have you on my podcast and get you to share your gifts. Effective communication is a skill. Podcasting allows you the opportunity to practice the skill of communication, build rapport, and trust with audience. Preach, brother. Preach, brother. Wheezy. Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Now, how can podcasting benefit you for your business? So we're going to start from a place of building from on top of all of these. because these make you a better person overall, and then you can take them to the next level. That's what you're gonna get for your business. It's gonna allow you to attract and connect with your exact ideal audience because you're sharing your story. You have a very targeted, laser focused message. And the process of you sharing your story, displaying expertise, guess what? You're giving a beautiful opportunity for your audience to get to know you. And when they know you, that's when the magic happens. They see you as one of their own, start liking you, trusting you, and so on and so forth, and seeing you as even seeing you as a friend. And what that's going to generate is that it's going to build a very intimate connection with your audience because, again, they have the trust with you. They like you, they know you, they can identify with you, and so on and so forth. Here's a big one, very big one. Your best clients will be your podcast listeners. Up to the start of this year, 100%. Let me repeat that. 100% of my clients were coming from my podcast. Let me repeat that. 100% of my clients were coming from my podcast. Can you guess why? And I will expand on that in a couple of slides later on. Can you guys guess why? Who wants to take a crack at that?
Because they trust you.
That's it. You've got it, brother. You're a fast learner. That's it. It's all about trust. Not only they trust you, they like you, they can identify with you, they can resonate to their message, they just like you. Here's a big one. A podcast is an incredible, not only lead generation machine, but most importantly, a lead education machine because our job, number one job as a mentor, as a coach, as an activator, is to educate your audience about what is the main pain point they're facing. Because we don't know what we don't know. Your job is not to bombard them right away with your solution. If they don't understand the problem, they're not gonna appreciate the solution. So your job, number one job, is to educate them. What is a problem? Why is a problem in the first place? And then paint as vividly as possible what's gonna happen if they don't take any action. And once you've educated them, the next question is gonna come in their mind is, so how do we fix this? I'm glad you asked. That's why I'm here for. And that's where and when you start presenting your solution. And because you were the one that educated them on the extent of the problem, by default, you will become, guess what? Their expert, their authority, the leader that they will be looking to. Do you guys see how that makes sense? Awesome. Here's a very common one, very popular one. You can leverage your podcast for endless content. Let's say your podcast is 45 minutes on average. You can slice that up like a pizza 24 ways and make highlights and reels and so on and so forth. Make a blog post and so on and so forth for your marketing, for your emails and so on and so forth. As I mentioned earlier, all of that is going to elevate and position you and the mind of your audience, your listeners, your prospects, your future clients, as not only the expert, the leader and authority in your field, but most importantly, as their expert, their leader, their authority, especially if you did your job properly, and that is if you spend enough time to really educate them on what is the problem, why the problem is here in the first place, what's going to happen if they don't take any action, and so on and so forth. That's where you become really in their minds the go-to person in your niche. And that's the ultimate goal for any mentor, coaches, and activators. Does that make sense, guys? The next one, the next one is podcasting is a phenomenal platform for networking. Podcasting has become the new golf. Can't tell you how many businesses of all levels, small to multi-billion-dollar businesses, started as a result of people connecting on a podcast. For example, for me, nowadays I only do business with people I met on my podcast. My publisher, Mary Gooden, she's going to be on Friday. She was a guest on my podcast. She joined my academy. She was one of the first alumni back in December of 2021. I did 4 books with her, and now we're doing 2 more books together. My coach, Jay, he was a guest on my podcast. I saw him. I saw him making offers and offers. I got to know him. He made an offer last year. I didn't even read the sales page. He should send me the link, and I just signed up because I had a trust with him. I knew him. So again, nowadays I only do business with people I meet on my podcast. And all of this, if you put them together, podcasting is an incredible, incredible launching pad for much bigger things. For example, for me, it allowed me, when I started my podcast, I had no idea, no desire to turn that into a business. I did it because I was bored and I was broke as a joke. I had to do something. Allowed me to not only build a beautiful, prolific, successful podcast, a thriving academy, now expanding in the UK, realizing one of my all-time dreams of becoming a published author, not only a published author, but a 4-time #1 international best-selling author, and allowed me to do one of my ultimate dreams was to do a public speaking. I did my first TED Talk this past August, and it literally fell on my lap. I was invited to do a talk in Vietnam to two big entrepreneurs networking groups about podcasting, just like tonight. An American professor at the local university saw it. He loved it. We had a talk, coffee. He said, listen, I would like you to do a TED Talk. I said, sure, what's the next step? He said, send me a 1,000-word essay by May 31st. And the big question I asked him, how much is it? Because I know people on my network were charging $10,000 to $20,000 just to train you to become, not to get an opportunity to speak, but to train you on the speaking aspect of it. He said, it's free. I said, what? I never written a 1,000 essay faster than when I did that, because I was afraid the guy might change his mind or made a mistake. I'm joking. But again, all of those happened as a result of this. Most of you have been on my podcast. And if you remember, the last question I always ask you is, what is the smallest thing you've done that has had the greatest, deepest, most profound and impactful positive impact on both your life and business? For me, without hesitation, has been starting my podcast, because the reason I'm here today is because of the podcast. Living the life of my dreams, getting back on my feet financially, having all these incredible friendships around the world, connections, opportunities, blessings. It's all because of this. So this is why podcasting is a life changer for a business. And last but definitely not least, it drastically reduces the sales cycles of whatever you're selling. Can you guys guess why that is? Why having your own podcast drastically reduces the sales cycle of whatever you're selling? Let's hear at least 1 or 2 people. Who wants to take a crack at it? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Let me check. Oh, I'm okay. Don't worry. Just I cough most at night, but it's okay. I took 2 medicines already. Who wants to take a crack at it? Why having your own podcast reduces the sales cycle of whatever you're selling?
It represents authority.
Yes, that's part of it. That's part of it. Anyone else? Or do you want to go deeper into that, Mark?
Yeah, along with trust, and I believe as well.
That's it. And if I were to be lazy, I would say because of all I just talked about. The trust, the rapport, the identifying, the resonating, and so on and so forth. The connection, that's all. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions so far?
Sorry, quickly, what is a sales cycle? What is the definition of a sales cycle?
Okay, it's how long it takes you from first point of contact to actual sales. The average, I heard the average point of contact required is 7 to 10 points of contact before someone goes from complete stranger to a client or customer.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that make sense now? Awesome. Cool. Now let's move forward. So again, it's all about the connection. Your podcast is going to allow you to have a deeper connection with your audience. And when you do have that audience, when you do build that connection, they will get to know you better. And as a result of that, it'll be much more natural for them to do business with them. And once you build that trust and rapport, there's no need for you to pitch, to sell, to convince, to seduce, or kidnap someone to do business with them. For example, hey, Sandra, Raman, Genevieve, Mark, what do you do? Oh, I do X for Y. Oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Sure, let's set up a time to talk. See, there's no need to pitch. It's just a conversation. Just a natural automatic progression. There's no need for you to submit any proposals, to chase people, and so on and so forth. It's just natural, organic. Do you guys know this guy? Raise your hand if you know this guy. Okay.
Russell Brunson,
yes, is the co-founder of ClickFunnels, a multi-billion-dollar company, which is basically the #1 platform in the world to build sales funnels. So basically, here's a very powerful quote. Music and radio listeners make on average $60,000 a year, while podcast listeners make on average $120,000. Why that is? Let's hear at least one or two people.
I think because, as you mentioned earlier, because it's one-to-one. So when someone is going for jogging or something, they just use their earpiece and then just go and then they listen to it. That's why.
That's a great answer. Yes. Anyone else?
I also think it's because you're visual and that when you're having your conversation, they're not just listening.
That's very true. Anyone else?
I was thinking that maybe it's more because music and radio listening is more transactional and product can be transformational.
Okay, that's a great answer. Stephanie, go ahead, my friend.
I was just gonna say, sorry, I'm tired.
No worries.
My brain's not working. Radio, they only make a certain amount because that's what their corporation pays them, based on, I don't know, how popular they are maybe, and the commercials that they can get while they're on the radio. Whereas podcasting, you have different options. You're not like, oh, I have a boss who will only pay me this much. The sky's the limit kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. The reason for that is because podcast listeners understand the value of self-investment, and they do have the disposable income to invest in themselves. I'm not saying people that listen to radio and music don't, but statistically speaking, someone who's consuming podcasts all the time, they understand the value of self-investment. They're always trying to learn, to get inspired, to get to level up. And the people that listen to podcasts, they know what they want. And the people that know what they want, they're much more likely to be successful. Does that make sense? What you guys said, they're all true. But this is a deeper reason, is because the people that listen to podcasts, they know what they want. They're always striving to level up. And as a result of that, they have the disposable income to do so, and are willing and able to do it. And they understand the value of self-investment. Again, I'm not saying the people that listen to music and radio don't. I love music. But there's a place that's where podcasting is all about feeding your brain, expanding your horizon, your mind. Does that make sense, guys? Cool, awesome. As I mentioned earlier, your podcast listeners will be your best clients. Because again, your podcast listeners will will already have that connection, that trust, that rapport. And as a result of that, they will be much more likely not only to pay you, but pay you the most amount of money with the least amount of resistance. Because again, they have that trust, that rapport. How many of you in here already listen to podcasts? Okay, Elizabeth, what's your favorite podcast to listen to?
I listen to a few, but Marcus Aubrey is a good one that I listen to.
Okay.
I can't think of what it's called, but that's the podcast host.
Why is that your favorite podcast?
He has some really interesting guests, and it's transformational. Like he is authentic. He's authentic. He's got some really amazing speakers, and it's all very cutting edge or leading edge information.
Beautiful. And how long have you been listening to his podcast?
On and off for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think I started in COVID, actually. Yeah.
So how do you view him now?
Yeah, I've watched him journey through. He was when I first started listening to him, he was polyamorous. Is that the right word? Like he was with a lot of people. And he's journeyed through this thing where he's met this one partner and got married. And so, like you sort of build this relationship, right? Like as you connect with them. So yeah, you have a different and I've sort of had other podcasts that I follow because they were on and music, people that are in music and all sorts of stuff. I follow different people that were on his podcast. So yeah, that's all very interesting.
Absolutely.
Great to think about that.
Exactly. So also what I want to get at is we all have our favorite podcasts. When we listen to those, the host, you very fast you see them as a friend, even though you've never met them and you will never meet them. You feel like you know them.
Yeah.
When you have that feeling, that view towards them, you're much more open and likely to reach out to them and do business with them. Am I right or right?
Yeah.
See?
The other thing it actually just thought of is that I haven't bought one of his fire ticket offers, but I have bought things from him, products that he sells and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how likely are you to purchase an iTicket offer from him versus someone you have never heard of?
Him first. If I was going to use his things about high performance health, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I would go for him first. Absolutely.
Absolutely. See, guys, this is real life example of how having a podcast that you're listening to, how is that going to change how you view them and how much more likely you will be to pull the trigger and buy whatever they're offering. Because again, because of that trust, you identify with them. Again, when someone is listening to your podcast, it's for three main reasons. One, sure, they're interested in your topic. They can identify with you, but most importantly is because they like you. They like your sense of humor, your personality, and all that good stuff. If not, you would not waste your time listening to that. So this is why podcasting, when done the right way, is gonna bring you your best client, the people that will pay you the most money, the fastest, and with the least amount of resistance. That's why, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to drastically reduce the sales cycle of what you're selling. Sales cycle is not important when you're selling low ticket item, let's say less than $100. But anytime you're selling anything over $1,000, it's a big time factor. All right. So congratulations. We just finished day 2. But before we finish, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the really, really most important day of the week. The foundation of everything, because that's what you're going to be brainstorming to identify your zone of genius, your gifts. And we're going to take your zone of genius and your gift on Thursday, day 4, build your offer, craft your messaging, and your podcast is going to be the platform you're going to be sharing those, displaying that on your podcast. So we're going to also identify tomorrow, everything's going to flow downhill from here. First, identify your zone of genius, your gifts, and then once we have that, it's going to be self-evident. Who's your ideal client, and so on and so forth. And also, I will have a gift for you tomorrow. I will have two gifts, actually, two bonuses. One is going to be my proven blueprint to launch a podcast in 3 easy steps. That's a guide I will make accessible to you guys after the call tomorrow. And also tomorrow night, we will have two incredible experts. I forgot to put them here, but I posted on the Facebook group. Two of the most successful LinkedIn experts. They're doing I think they're doing 6 figures a month on LinkedIn. They're going to come and share with you how to leverage LinkedIn to get clients effortlessly. My good friends, Jordan Ryan Molina. Some of you know him if you're in the Jay's coaching program. And also his partner from the UK, Mark Aaron Ramsey. They're absolutely killing it on LinkedIn. Killing it. And I'm really honored to say that tomorrow they will come and do a talk for us. So tomorrow night, be here. Bring your favorite drink, snacks, because it might be a long one tomorrow, but it's going to be a good one. So before we finish, that's for tomorrow. Now, oops. Okay. Let's go into Q&A. Any question about tonight? Let's hear your questions.
Well, actually, I have a question. Actually, you mentioned it earlier, which for tomorrow we're gonna talk about it more in advance. But the thing is, I'm very new in podcasting, all this stuff, so I haven't done podcasting and anything yet. So I'm trying to get started. And my question is, where and how and which platform we have to use to upload our talk, means the conversation we have with someone or ourselves, and then if someone wants to start and then to just release the first podcast, so what they have to do. And maybe you talked about it last night, but I wasn't there, so it's my question now.
Great question. The blueprint I will share with you guys will contain the answer to those questions. I'm going to share that with you for free. I used to sell that for $1,000. Now it's all yours for free as a gift because, again, it was my birthday last week, because it's my way to make it worth your while. So it's going to be part of that. And also on Friday, Thursday, I'm going to also go in details over those technical questions. So please be patient, my friend. You'll have the answers by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very welcome. Any other questions? Bring him on. Yes, Mark. Me too, brother. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been in the network industry for 40 years, and I'm transitioning over to this digital marketing. So I've been inundated with all this training, and I'm trying to just put it in perspective. But we got our Facebook training, we got the TikTok training, we got LinkedIn training, and you can't do it all at once. You try to pick one or two and go for 30 days on one. But nobody talks about podcasting. And it seems to me that it's the mothership of everything out there. For what I'm getting, I just don't, I'm still working at it and trying to feel it in my gut, not just in my head. Am I correct on this? And why aren't people pushing podcasting? We do all this other training. I think, shouldn't podcasting be first, then we add on all the others?
Preach, brother, preach. You're just speaking my language. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Podcasting is the one that's going to give you the highest return, because, again, podcasting is what gets you to have heart-to-heart conversations better than any other platforms. I can't understand why, just like you, why are most people sleeping on podcasting? Each time sometime when I miss it and I just add one person, I had a chat with him, I'm not going to name them. I had a chat with him a couple of weeks ago. He was really frustrated because he was struggling, not getting any leads, was really struggling, even about to throw the towel. I said, listen, I have a free 5-day challenges next week. Come join us. And earlier today, he just messaged me, oh, podcasting doesn't align with my views. When I hear that, I used to try to convince them. And now, when the person is not ready, you can't. Your job is not to save people. Just like the saying, you can take the horse to the river, to the water, but you can't drink for the horse. When they're not ready, it's not your job. So again, my job is to make as many people as possible to realize the life-changing potential of podcasting. This has completely changed, transformed it, and saved my life. But some people still don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think what intrigued me too is that you said it was the golf game of for networking.
It's becoming the new golf.
And,
Yes.
and I'm going to give you a little example. Back about 15 years ago, I put about 1,500 distributors in a company. I don't even know which company it is. I've done a few, but I think it was a weight loss product. But anyways, 1,500 in 6 months. And it came to a point where people will come up to us and want to just be around us. And it's not like, oh, do you want to buy our product or do you want to join our company? It said, well, we don't care about joining your company. And they said, no, we just want to play a game of golf with you, just hang around you. And so we don't care what you're selling. And that approach was so beautiful because they'd have to line up for us to sign them up. Exactly. And I'm just because they wanted to be around us because they liked it. I think that what's coming on here is that the podcasting is that sort of environment where you're creating an atmosphere of attraction. It's really the true attraction marketing that we all try to do in digital marketing.
And I will share with you guys in the rest of the week how to never, ever struggle getting leads. Once you're on podcast, I can go and have 50 leads today in the next 10 minutes. My problem is, or used to be, finding the time and then the closing. That's why I joined Jay's program. I will share one thing. You mentioned that your network marketing company is flooding you with all kind of training on TikTok, LinkedIn, all that. I will contrast that with a powerful interview I listened to a year ago from one of the co-founders of Lead Pages. Lead Pages, for those of you who don't know, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Was the main competitor of ClickFunnels to create landing pages. The host asked him, so what's your number one secret for so rapidly becoming a multi-billion-dollar company? The guy said, and I will never forget it, the rule of the 6 1s. One offer, one product, one avatar, one traffic source, 1 year, and something else. So the point is, focus, focus, focus. Don't try to be on 10 different platforms. How do you identify which platform to focus on? And that's what you're going to dive in tomorrow. There will be no guesswork. It's going to be based on logic. Number one, what's your zone of genius? What's your gift? What's a pain point you can solve? For who? And then the next question is, where is that person hanging out? So you need to understand your avatar very intimately, understand where is that person hanging out, and then focus on that platform. There's no guesswork. And when you find that platform, just go all in with one platform. For me, up to now, I swear to you guys, 100% of my clients have come from Facebook groups. 100%. Facebook groups are an absolute gold mine. Now I'm slowly getting into LinkedIn, but still I'm resisting it because I don't want to get distracted. Don't try to be on multiple platforms because you're going to be spread yourself thin. Instead, tomorrow you will have much more clarity. Once you identify your zone of genius, what's the pain point you're solving, for who? The next question is going to be, where is that person hanging out? What platform? And then go all in on that platform. One platform. Again, remember that. The rule of the 5 1 or 6 1s. One business, one offer, one client, one avatar, one platform, 1 year. Memorize that, guys. In your business, I would recommend don't try to have 5 or 10 offers or packages because you're going to confuse your client, your prospects. Oh, which one did I get? And a confused mind, guess what? Doesn't take any action. of just one offer, high ticket offer for one person, one pain point, one platform. Does that make sense? All right,
But
next.
sorry, another thing I want to mention, but the audience is important as well, right? So it depends on what audience you are looking for. So you have to go to the different maybe source of the audience. Like, for example, if you are looking for the youngest, for example, those who are in 20s or lesser than 20s, you have to go on Instagram or the
Absolutely.
another one. Yeah. So, but if you are your target is just the business people who they want something more, and then you want to have depends on the product as well. So then you can go to the
Of
LinkedIn.
course.
I think that is it's different of what you're gonna do. Is it?
Absolutely. It varies, and that is why it's incredibly important to have laser focus clarity on everything, because clarity is the name of the game. And another key point I want to share with you guys, that's something I'll share more tomorrow, but I want to share it now because you brought it up. You want to target someone that not only needs your services, but also can pay you. And we're not talking about $5, $10. We're talking about $1, $2, $3, $5, $10,000. We're building a business, not a charity. Sure, we all would love to work for free, but unless you're a billionaire, we can't do that. So make sure you target someone that can pay you accordingly, because you've earned the right to charge. What was the story of a guy that he called someone to fix something in his house, something very simple. The guy came, he sent them a bill for $1,000 for just 1 minute work. So what? That's crazy. I said yes. He sent him an itemized invoice at $1, so $5 for the hammer, and $999 for his experience, all the time he spent mastering his craft. Same thing for a surgeon or a doctor. When you go to, for example, eye surgery, laser surgery, it takes 10 minutes, but you're paying $5,000, $10,000. Why? Because that's something they learned. They took the time to learn and invest. Same thing for any professionals. So again, make your business transformational and target someone that can pay you. Does that answer your question, Ramin?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome, brother. Next, Genevieve, and then Kwesi.
Yeah, quick question, and more of maybe a thought. I'm wondering about the impact of one person doing a podcast versus two people doing a podcast, and if there's a difference between which group does better. Is there research on that? Just sort of curious about that.
It really depends what is your objective. What do you want to achieve with your podcast? What is your goal? If it's something just like earlier today, who was that mentioned? Oh, Dianara. She has a podcast with her sister. And she asked whether they should both go on podcast or just one of them. I said, if both of you are the face of the brand, then by all means, you should both go together. If not, you can be more flexible. Same thing here. Depends what do you want to achieve, what's the number one pain point you're solving and addressing on your podcast, and for who. These two key questions, we're going to dive deeper into that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
what we're doing, we're building not just a podcast, we're building a profitable and impactful podcast, which is going to be based on your zone of genius, on your gifts. Something that's going to be transformational, not transactional. Meaning it's not about your time because there's a ceiling how much you can charge. It's not about your knowledge because nobody cares and knowledge can be obtained for free. It's about people pay for two things, transformation and speed. Let's say it takes me a year to master a skill, but here you come. You can help me learn it in 30 days. I'd be willing to pay you 10 times more. So this is what people want. This is what we're going to brainstorm tomorrow. What is something transformational that you can offer? And the best way to identify that is, what is your zone of genius? What is your true gifts? because we're not looking to build a business around something that is trendy, sexy, or just profitable, because it's not sustainable. Instead, we're looking to build something that all you have to do is just share your story, speak from the heart of how you personally successfully overcame a major life challenge. Does that make sense? All right. Crazy, brother, go ahead.
Thanks, bro. So here's my question. What if I'm not in the digital space and my interest in starting a podcast is I just like to talk and I'm a great listener and maybe I want to develop my confidence to one day be on stage. It's a two-part question. That's the context, the burger, so to speak, or the buns. Would this live challenge still be beneficial for me, especially tomorrow, how you're going to show us? Can you teach someone like myself how to actually craft an offer that would make sense? Someone that just, likes to talk and want to listen. And
Absolutely.
that's the first question. And the second one would be, yeah, if I have nothing to sell at this moment, could I still start a podcast with everything you're going to be sharing with me?
Absolutely. Hey, it's your podcast, it's your business, you call the shots. Again, the first question I asked you guys on Monday is, what do you want to achieve to your podcast? What's your objective with launching a podcast? Why do you want to have a podcast? Is it to make money? Is it to grow your business, get more awareness, or just because you want to have meaningful conversations? So absolutely. What was the first part of your question?
Yeah, if I'm new to the space,
Oh,
don't have an offer,
yeah.
I just like to talk and hear people speak.
Yeah.
Would it still be beneficial for me to continue on the live, to continue on the challenge, and tomorrow with your blueprint of how to craft an actual offer
Mhm.
that would be profitable for $1,000?
Yeah.
Would you be able to teach someone like me?
Yes. Great question.
Yeah.
So even though I've been mentioning so far that we're going to be looking at identifying your zone of genius and building your offer, your business, your podcast around a major life challenge you've overcome. I mentioned that because that's the most common, most popular way to identify your zone of genius, but there's actually 4 ways to do so. And that's what we're going to explore tomorrow. The first way is look into your professional background. Let's say you spend 10, 20 years in whatever field, let's say accounting, medical, legal, whatever. That's the first place to start because you intimately, deeply understand that industry, that niche. You speak the language of the person, you understand the pain point. For example, for someone like Dave in network marketing, that would be an incredible place to start because you understand that industry better than anyone. That's the first place. First way to start to identify your zone of genius. Look into your professional background. Number 2 is to if you have any God-given natural innate talent. Some people are amazing with numbers, with memory, with words. Some people are blessed with phenomenal physical abilities, athletes. Some people are amazing with painting, music, whatever. If you have any such talents, that's a great way to build a business. Actually, countless people have launched very successful 6, 7-figure businesses just teaching someone to play the guitar, the piano, dancing, things like that, or better improve the game in whatever sports, or become better at seduction, whatever. If you have those kind of natural God-given talent, that's a great way to build a business. The third one is if you have any high income skill. Let's say you're amazing with copywriting, you're amazing with closing, with negotiation, with coding, and so on and so forth. If you've acquired a high income skill that either you currently have a job paying you good money or you have clients paying good money, that's a fantastic way to build a very profitable and impactful business. And last but definitely not least, and that's the one I've been mentioning so far, and that is to look at your life, any major life altering challenges you've overcome yourself. Because what you've successfully overcome yourself, the other people going through it right now, we're desperately looking for someone, for a big brother, big sister to help them overcome that, to go through and overcome that. So these are the 4 ways that we look at identifying your zone of genius. I summarized them for you now. We're going to dive deeper into that tomorrow. And definitely, there's always one of those will apply to you We're gonna brainstorm together tomorrow, not just me and you, but also all of us. And we will find what is your true gift, because that's what it ultimately boils down to. What is your true gift? What is your true zone of genius? And someone like you, brother Kwesi, I've known you a bit. You're a multi-faceted, talented man. And we're gonna now, the challenge is gonna be which one to focus on.
Right.
Because I've met a few people like that. Does that answer your question?
Multi-passionates. But
Yeah.
yes, it does answer my question. Could I squeeze one more in?
All right, just
Uh,
go ahead.
one more in, please.
Yeah.
And thank you for
One for
everything
the
for your
road. Yes, go
patience.
ahead.
Right? How do I deliver the question? Right. So someone tonight asked a clarifying question, and it was about pain point marketing.
Okay.
That stood out to me, the terminology and what it meant to me. What if, so this is a bit of devil's advocate, so allow me grace while I offer this to you, brother. Is pain point marketing the only strategy that will be focused on here? What if it was someone like myself who is a happy-go-lucky positive guy and wanted to use positivity or pleasure marketing? Would I also be able to use that?
Absolutely. Again, if that's your gift, if that's your God-given natural talent, then by all means, go activate other people's around you. Go make them look at things from a positive lens and not from a, make them look at things from a half full and not half empty cup. You know, make them look at everything that happens is happening to them. Sorry, for them, not to them.
Right.
And always, what I always mention is make them become aware of asking the right question, such as, what is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson for me to learn to, and not, what did I do to deserve this? Why? And why not little baby? And so on and so forth.
You're the best, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Go out and activate others around you, brother. Mr. Activator. All right. Who else? Hello, Jay. Good to have you with us, my friend. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I had another meeting that was set already.
No worries, no worries. Make sure you catch the replay because it was action-packed tonight.
Thank you.
Any questions? Anyone? Bonnie and Jim, any questions? Speak now, I'll hold your peace forever, as you guys would say.
I think it's just been it's been great. You're excellent at communicating and doing what you're doing, and I just love it, Payman.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Obviously, I agree, Payman.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jim. Mark, any question, brother? I know you're always busy wheeling and dealing all the time.
That's everything. We got so much happening, yeah,
I
for
know.
sure.
No worries.
No, just listening away, mate, on good. And of course, I've done this once before as well. So, yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. David, any question? David
Holmes?
Yes. I think the other David is.
No, I think every day gets better, Payman.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm trying to just get a handle on it. I'm trying to bring my ship in and land it. It's I'm still up in the air about a lot of stuff. So keep going. I'm still on board here.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm here for you, brother. Cheering for you. Katana. The people's champ. The president's neck kisser.
Oh, there's a lot of good things, especially the clarity and niching, which you might remember I struggled with my first time around with you.
Yep.
And it doesn't always, it evolves actually. And that's what I'm realizing.
That's it.
And that's okay. So that's the best part of what I got out of that.
Absolutely.
Having
Always
clear focus, believing in yourself, and just going imperfectly forward, and damn the torpedoes.
Yeah, fail fast, fail forward.
Yes.
Yep, that's it. Sarah, you've been pretty quiet tonight. Any questions?
Just taking it in. You're reminding me of all the things I kind of knew but forgot while I was leading a different path, learning other things. So you're just bringing it all back. And I'm really excited for tomorrow, leading into the rest of the week for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Delighted to hear that. Dianara, any question?
Oh man, love getting called on. Honestly, I don't have any questions. And again, I'm like Sarah, taking it all in, and kind of like Katana said, it's making everything, as we were going through this yesterday and today, it's just making everything just a little bit more clear. Like I can see, the final, picture or whatever it is that I'm trying to get to. It just makes it a little bit more clear. So I'm just excited for tomorrow. I'm really up.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Genevieve.
No, I don't have any more questions. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Elizabeth.
Not that I can think of. I'm just soaking it all in, like Sarah was saying, stuff that, all makes sense and I sort of know and haven't implemented. So it's one of those things of like take action on. It's actually really supporting me to be motivated and to just take action on what you're talking about. So I'm looking forward to the rest.
Delighted to hear that. Thank you. Awesome. Sandra, you've been very quiet. Bring your questions, my friend.
Oh Lord.
Oh, is that you, Sandra? Good to hear, my friend. Good to have you with us. Thank you for being here. Now I recognize your voice. Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay. I don't have a question. I am taking it all in. I'm here listening and
Okay.
taking it all in.
Awesome.
I'm
I hope
looking forward to the zona genus and building on it. The
Yes,
rest
that's
of
going to
the
be
week.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Awesome. Ramen, brother, what questions do you have about tonight?
Okay, well, I don't have any questions because I already asked. I'm learning something new, definitely, because I'm very, very new into this podcasting. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
you.
Thank you for being here.
I'm
Glad
most
to have you
welcome.
with us. And tomorrow is going to be even better.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you. Any last minute question before we call it a night or a day? Yes, wish I'd heard it 3 years ago. Well, you know what's the saying? It says, everything happens for a reason at the right time. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time to start is today. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be tough on yourself. It wasn't meant to be 3 years ago because you were not at that stage. Everybody, you're exactly where you're meant to be, no matter how successful or struggling you may be, how hard as that may seem. Because even if you might be struggling right now, it's because you need to learn the lessons, the wisdom, the gifts from that to become the person you're meant to be. Now, in retrospect, look at my life, I could have made some decision that would save me from going broke, homeless, almost depressed, suicidal. But you know what, guys? If I had to do it again, I would not change it. Because it's those that made me become the person I am today. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting goosebumps. Again, your crap is your gift. Sorry, as your gold, literally. Print that, put it on a t-shirt, tattoo it, whatever. Never forget that. Because nothing happens to you, but for you. As I said earlier, we all go to our fair share of tough times, but then those become your story. Your story becomes your gifts, and your gifts become your duty and responsibility to share them. You're all here because now you're at a stage that you are to share those gifts. First, identify them loud and proud, and then share them even louder and prouder around you and around the world through your own profitable podcast. So you're at the right place at the right time. And I'm cheering for you. God is cheering for you. Your family are cheering for you. But you know who's the most important people right now that you're not seeing that are cheering for you? They're not your angels. They're your future clients that are waiting for you anxiously for you to step up. So go make it happen because your future clients need you. They're waiting for you. Don't let them down. Go make it happen. And most importantly, get out of your own way. I found a video on YouTube the other day that says why people that are dumber than you are crushing it. Is because they don't overthink. They just take action. They do it. Fail fast, fail forward. Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't let your ego come into play. Don't let your own ego stop you, prevent you. Just take action. Remember what Misha mentioned last night. How many of you did what he said last night? Go look at your favorite podcast and message them, those guys. Maybe I should do it myself. I'm guilty of that. But I've been busy. We've all been busy. But again, please don't just watch passively. Implement that because that is transformational. That is life-changing for you and your business. Go back to yesterday and listen to my story. I literally came back from hell. And you didn't, I don't know. You guys can't all of you guys have the qualities, the gifts, the intellect, the intelligence, the wisdom, the charisma, the leadership to make it happen even much bigger, more impactful, faster than me. Because I started not at zero, I started minus 10. I had nothing. I didn't have a credit card. I had nothing. And just by taking action and perfect action every day, one day at a time, by the grace of the Almighty, I've been able to change that. So you guys can do. Enough. I guess right now I'm doing the job of Dave and what's his name? Bonnie and Jim. I'm not a pastor, but I love inspiring people. That's what I'm very good at. I'm not good at selling, but I'm very good at passionate speaking, sharing my story. And that's what podcasting, when you do it the right way, just share your story. You don't have to learn and study about the economy or the environment and try to impress others. No, just share your story. Anyways, guys, let's call it a night. If you have no more questions, keep shining your light, keep blessing the world, your presence, your impact, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bring your friends if you have friends that you think would benefit from it. And let's have another banger. Oh, tomorrow is going to be a double banger, a triple banger, because we have those killer LinkedIn experts. Plus, tomorrow is going to be probably the most important day of the challenge about your zone of genius. So tomorrow, come, grab your favorite drink, your snacks, because tomorrow is going to be long when I have a feeling. My MTA, my Mastrada advisor, this guy is telling me it's going to be, probably might be longer than yesterday. Probably going to go to 3 hours. But no, we're not going to go to 3 hours. 2 hours is a cutoff. All right, guys, have a good one. God bless. See you tomorrow. Cheers.
See you. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye.